Good morning, everybody. Welcome to wandering me for the next few hours as we drive around a section of this Greater Kruger National Park here in the Sabi Sands. This is Djuma Game Reserve, and it's a little bit of a misty morning. It's very unusual for the height of summer to have such a misty morning. I don't know, maybe you can zoom in on the valley a little bit and get a glimpse of what our day looks like. Really, really pretty. Jason is with me on camera, and Alex is in final control. Together we're going to bring you the best we can. We've been looking around already for some tracks because we had a very special cat around yesterday, and I think one of the most important things for me right now is actually we're going to drive around and look for anything that we can see, but one of the important things is to find tracks of Karula and see where she headed after she was around Gowrie Dam, I think it was yesterday, from Vubu Road. So she didn't seem to have come to the west, and so we're going to do a big loop around, get to Gowrie Dam and see if we can pick up a track somewhere. Bottle brush grasses. Early morning light is just such an amazing thing to play with with photography. Ordinarily you wouldn't really take notice of grass heads like this. Okay. Let us find something. Of course, Merry Christmas to those of you celebrating this morning or this evening. Some of you already well into Christmas Day over there in the Pacific part of Australia, New Zealand. If you're watching from there, some early tracks. Very brief elephant tracks. Must have just crossed the road a little bit diagonally. Not too fresh. And back on the road again. But actually does look fairly fresh. Elephant walked along this way, the direction we're headed. I don't think he's very far, this elephant. There's some fresh grasses in the road. He's been plucking grass. follow up on this elephant. Still, he's on and off the road quite a bit, but generally walking in a southerly direction. No cats yet. Quite a few hyena tracks which seem to be coming up from where the den is. So it could well be that the den is still active down here. We just haven't been lucky enough to find them there when we've been there, these hyena. There, Mr. Elephant. Making a beeline maybe for Treehouse Dam if he carries on south through here. Although here, a lot of hyena tracks on top of his tracks, so he's not as close as I thought. Oh, there's a bustard with his tail a little bit flared.
Bless you.
Thank you. Slight change of plan. I think he's just got a feather loose on his tail. This elephant was walking south quite some time ago, and after he headed south there's some hyena tracks on top of his, quite a few of them heading up towards Impala Plains. So I think we need to go and have a look there first before we do anything else. We might be able to catch up with him a bit later if he hasn't crossed south of us already. What a wonderful day. So these would appear that there's a clan of hyena that ran along this road. And I wonder if they didn't come and do something on this open area at some stage. Or if they maybe heard something from their den, something like another animal making a kill. been a big snake on the road here. Fortunately not going to be able to see these tracks very easily, but there have been two, looks like might have even been two snakes mating or fighting. A lot of different shapes and grooves in the sand, that are clearly snakes' bellies and just angles that are very unusual over a wide patch. Kind of thing that you find when two snakes are entwined, either in battle or in reproduction. There's still a lot of hyena tracks, all heading down here. Might have gone further than this open area. No one here. Very hazy this morning. I guess a lot of moisture in the air. There's been quite high humidity lately. Aha. Cat tracks. This looks like cheetah. Have a look at this on the main road. Moving. Oh, sorry, Jason. Big bump. But no, just to try and. Yeah. Going the other way. Sleeping in the road here. Oops. Trouble is, if there's been traffic here this morning, there were two cats sleeping on the road here, just in front of us. Looks like they came out of there. I see what you mean, they're going back again. Cool enough that they'll still be on the move. I hear there was some cheetah up on Biffle's Hook yesterday. See here, the tracks coming this way. Oh, that's hyena. That's hyena. small hyena, the same hyena must have come down now, heading south. But I'm not picking up the other cats again. A little frustrating because I like to stay with tracks, and it seems hyena were lying in the road. Seems there'd been a hyena up and down here quite a lot last night, so there's some reason that hyena were busy here. Other cat tracks that I had were quite fresh. So I think we just have to go back up. Come around again. Hashtag Safari Live if you want to get us on Twitter. Questions at WildEarthTV if you want to send a mail. Email. Sounds like there might even be kahumas on the property today, which is also great news. Sounds like there's some guys tracking that tracked them from Leadwood. Bless you. hyena. Guess we got distracted a little this morning. This road has a few little open patches with very short grasses and fairly large quarry bushes. Now, this is ideal habitat for passing cheetah that are passing through. Unfortunately, cheetah cover very large areas, and they do need much more open areas than this, much bigger areas. They do hunt through this kind of bush. It's not easy for them to hunt through this kind of bush because they do need to get their speed up. And then also for the impala or whatever their prey might be, there's the dodging to and fro, around and through bushes, is not really the way cheetah like to hunt. Their best way of hunting, or rather their best conditions. Sorry, just listening to the radio. I can't believe them. The cat tracks here are unbelievable. We need to go back the other way now. Just get back onto the open area, and I think I need to go the other way because here I'm starting to pick up other cats. Drive on the tracks. Okay, it's very unclear, but it looks like cheetah headed south. And it's going to go back to the north a little bit quickly. Sometimes it can be quite, not necessarily confusing, but it's dilemmas when you've got tracks of different animals going in different directions, and the dilemma of which way to go, trying to decide which are the freshest and which are the most likely that we can maybe follow up on. This time of the morning it's crucial to try and get tracks as early as possible, because cats are possibly still moving at this time of day. The sun is starting to warm things up very quickly, and I'd say within half an hour to 40 minutes, 45 minutes, it's going to be a little bit too hot for cats. They're going to be finding somewhere to settle for the day. That is for lion and leopard mostly. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's not a, it doesn't. Hang on. Trying to catch up on the radio while I'm talking. Of course, I've seen leopard moving in the heat of the day. I've seen lion moving in the heat of the day. Morning, Ray. Ray is in Texas. Morning to you, Ray. Do leopards or any of the other big cats purr? No, leopards don't. Cheetah do. Cheetah have got a very loud, audible purr. And lion don't purr. Could have gone through there on that elephant path, because there weren't any tracks here. The tracks might have gone through onto Boyatela Access Road. Well, we'll see. We'll head round to Sandy Patch and see what might be there. Morning, Vivian in Chicago, and hopefully morning to another Vivian in Knysna, South Africa. My mom. I don't know if you're watching, Mom, if you can get it, but Vivian in Chicago wanting to know what's the largest prey item that a cheetah would take down. And I guess the straightforward answer there would be young giraffe, wildebeest, adult wildebeest. But what's important to note is that, oh, look at that cuckoo. Beautiful shot if it stays there. Straight through the gap. Birchall's cuckoo. A beautiful shot with the dead trees in the background. The only time one finds a cuckoo out is when it's preening and drying its feathers. They tend to scramble through thick scrub and grasses, and this time of the year when there's a lot of dew, they pick up a lot of water on their feathers, and they tend to, as you can see, fanning and preening, baking those feathers in the morning sun. Also known as the rain bird, has a lovely warbling sort of watery call that one only hears in the wet season. Bye bye cuckoo. Not cuckoo, cuckoo. C-O-U-C-A-L. Cuckoo. So cheetah, you see, Vivian, cheetah teach their youngsters how to hunt. Because cheetah live out in the open areas, they're able to set their cubs up near a hunt when they go off hunting, so that the youngsters can actually see the process. It doesn't work with leopard, and it doesn't really work with lion, but whatever a cheetah has learned to hunt, she will teach her kids how to hunt. So there are some areas where cheetah become specialists in certain animals, like wildebeest or young giraffe, and they then pass on the knowledge of how to bring those animals down to their youngsters. There are no more cat tracks here. So they've moved through. Yeah, I thought so. They would have crossed through onto Vuatela access road. Maybe we'll be lucky to find something this way. After Impala playing. I want to find tracks now. Hyena, of course. The elephant from this morning, I'm sure it's the same bull. Nothing here yet. But here is some fresh dung from wildebeest, just a little bit. a lot of tortoise moving around, a lot of tortoise tracks. Might have something to do with the weather change on the way. But no sign of any of these cats now. Cold, lost the trail. Have to pick it up again where I can. Bless you again. Some days things work well and some days they don't. That one will. I think one of the main things, of course, is being able to be out here every day and have that continuity. With the swapping over that we're doing, we're both finding it that by not being out here for a day, we're losing track of where we were thinking of things. Like today, for example, with the driving around that I'm doing today, we might find stuff and we might not, but at least I get an idea of where things were moving today. And in 2 days' time, when I drive again, it's going to be a little bit the break of the whole day. Lose track of things because animals can move such big distances, or they can cover a lot of ground. Flyers today. Lots of flyers. And now I'm almost back to square one, and Not sure where we should go and try now. Maybe move away. There's not really much around here. I saw a couple of impala through the quarry further back, but it's about it for now. I always wonder when they have tracks and then suddenly the tracks are no longer there, whether we've actually driven past these animals because they moved off of the road and they're starting to head into the shade somewhere. And sometimes they can be just not too far off the road, but if they're behind a bush or if they're lying flat, you'll miss them, you drive right past them. Okay, we gave pretty much exhausted our options up there. These hyena came down onto this open area. They're running around here for some reason. Other cats were in the area, but tracks in one place only. So if they're off-road somewhere, that's just our bad luck right now. It's always a matter of timing, a matter of whether you're going to be at that point when they're on the road at the same time. Excuse me, Dove. And it all started with a couple of elephant tracks, which we can get back to now. Follow his track south, and who knows, maybe we'll come across something else that will be a follow-up from what we've just found now. Don't know. Sometimes I get lucky. And all the tracks work out fine. Just a quiet Christmas morning amble through the bushveld. Pensive, introspective, meditative. Even lost my elephant tracks now. I must have taken a shortcut through towards Treehouse Dam maybe. Magpie shrike here, attacking something. Oh, sorry child. Didn't see us at first because it was trying to get something underneath a stick. Going back again. Not. Sharon wanted to see a magpie shrike. Just flying further away. Okie dokie. Time to nose around these junctions. Wildebeest, elephant is back again on the road. He did take a shortcut, but instead of going Treehouse Dam, he came this way, so he's no doubt crossed over Gowrie Main if he's heading south. But it'd be nice, let's take a drive to the big junction where these two main roads meet. Establish where things are not. I'm going to try and talk on the radio, excuse me a sec, and hopefully we don't lose a signal. Aubrey, go morning. Didn't copy that, thanks for that. Can you? And the lock. Yeah, but do you have the lock for Kanyeni? This radio's not working. Yeah, I copied that, but can you give me the lock? Can you give me the lock for that ink? Okay, copy that, thanks. Switch over microphones. Picture holding. Okay. Well, just been told about some other cats that we should go and have a look at, because these cats that we've been looking for have somehow found themselves in a place where I can't find any more tracks. But I'm still going to have a look. Bottom junction of Triple M and Gari Main, and then we're going to go east for some distance. But first down to the bottom. Cinnamon-breasted bunting was sitting right next to me. Lovely little bird called a cinnamon-breasted bunting. Problem is that when birds are fairly close, with the type of close I mean where we'd really be able to get a good shot of them, as soon as you turn to look at them they fly away because it's intimidating for them. Hyena, of course. That's about it. Other cats that we were following or we were looking for can be anywhere, but not where we can see them. Okay, we're gonna be heading east now because I want to head to another sighting that's been found. Give us something to look at for the morning. And it'll be nice to see what we can find on the way there. From the southwest corner to probably the southeast corner. Almost the entire length of Djuma that we're going to traverse now. That's where the elephant crossed, came back onto Zoe's road, and the big bull has gone south. I suppose he was probably walking during the night, especially because there were hyena tracks on top of his tracks, and those hyena tracks must have been also sometime maybe early this morning. One thing we can't do is bypass places like Treehouse Dam. My mind's a bit of a blank this morning, so I am a little quiet. Not that it's a blank, it's I don't know. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I talk too much and I can waffle on about things and lose track of subjects, and then sometimes, like today. So send me something to talk about. What do you want to hear about? Animal wise, of course, we're talking wildlife, we're talking African wildlife conservation. Buffalo. Hello boys. Good morning, Ray in Texas again. Question about a leopard, mother leopard. How far will she go from her cubs out hunting? Anywhere within her territory, right? It's possible for her to be at any point in her territory. So essentially it'll never be that far. I suppose that the question would be more of a time issue rather than a distance issue. Because wherever she is in her territory, she can always get back to her cubs within a fairly short amount of time. Making hay while the sun shines. Well, these bulls are stocking up on grasses so that they can spend the rest of the day wallowing perhaps in the dam, chewing the cud. And I want to leave them because I want to cover some more ground this morning. Curry buffalo bulls. Probably a couple in the dam already in the water. But time-wise, as far as the leopard leaving cubs, of course it depends on the age of the cubs. New cubs, I would imagine she'd be back with new cubs more frequently. As they get older, she can leave them for longer, sometimes even a day, 2 days. Once they get into that, here comes a hyena. And the hyena's been wallowing. You're going to see it shortly, I hope. she comes. That's that. I think this might be the male that we saw out in quarantine that day that was mating. Think, maybe. And then here's another, there's a female. I wonder if that's the same female too. Same couple. She had a bit of a tear in her ear. It's not the same one, because she's got a different tear in her ear. You're going to come and say hello, children. What's that on your head there? Some will be a growth on his neck. Where are you off to? Thought it was a male, might not be. Very difficult to tell with hyena. Aha. Interesting. They haven't gone back to bed yet. They might be a clan from south of Gari, on Little Gari. That's where they're headed right now. Just have a quick stop and have a look at the bachelors all gathering for the day. Morning, boys. Starting to heat up a lot now. Trying to get a decent gap to see. There's a pair of steenbuck here that looks like they might. Oh, she's she's off. And he's trying to follow her. So she might be coming into estrus, but she might just not be ready yet. Gave him a little bit of a kick. Kathy in Tennessee, wanting to know a little bit more about Karula and their offspring. far as I know, if I'm not mistaken, Karula was born in 2004, if I remember correctly. I met her in 2008 when she had just had her second litter. Her first litter were 2 female leopards. And that was Tingana and Saseka, or Shadow and Tundi. They had 2 different, I don't know why, but they had 2 names. Well, I do know why. There was the name that Wild Earth gave them, and then there was the name that the Sabi Sand gave them, and that confusion, I think, was the last time there was that much confusion, or that was that sort of scenario where they were given 2 names. And I hardly ever got to see them, although I think my first leopard that I ever saw here was one of them. The way I remembered how to remember their names, that one started with an S and one started with a T, and were given the opposite names by the reserve, so I can't remember who was who. There was Shadow, who was also known as Saseka, or no, yes, and Tingana, who was also known as Tundi, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be corrected by somebody. Set the record straight. But when I arrived in 2008, 2009 was when the second litter were just getting mobile, and that was Mishu and Induna. And we spent a lot of time with them in their 2 years of growing up. And then, hello Mr. Impala. Towards the end of 2010, it was Tundi that was Saseka, Tundi that was also known as Saseka, and Shadow that was also known as Tingana. Anyways, so I can't tell too much about the first litter because I didn't get to know the first litter of 2 females, and well, they used to come around from time to time. Occasionally we would see them with Karula. There was a time we even saw one of the girls with Karula and the boys. And then towards 2010 she had her 3rd litter, which became Shivamzi and Shivambalana, the little boy and the little girl that we also were lucky enough to spend some time with, although not as long, because we left in 2011 when they were only a year old. I wonder if we'll catch up with those hyena coming through. Oops, bumps. And we're expecting to see her new litter any day now, if we're lucky. She's only recently been seen again for the first time in weeks, I think. A couple of weeks. Morning. Oh, look at that. Saddlebull stork. Morning, Ryan in Utah. Saddlebull stork, and I had a bee eater taking an insect right in front of my face. Go forward a little. Ryan will be with your question shortly. These little mudwallahs are actually starting to dry up a little bit, and of course the time that they've been here, the tadpoles are getting bigger and bigger, so there's probably good frogging and good feeding until the next heavy rains come, until we can, or until it fills up this pond where the stork is now. That pond will fill up to about the stork's belly, cover all those grasses. At the moment there's only a little bit of muddy pool. Just going to have a look past Treehouse Dam quickly just to see if there's anything here, and then we see the wizard. Not even a buffalo as yet. Saddlebull stork is quite a rare bird to see. It's one of the birding big five, I think. We get a glimpse of it through here. It's got some sun on it now. Yellow eye. If I'm not mistaken, I think the yellow eye is the female. Maybe I'm wrong. Yep, yellow eye is the female. Now she's called a saddlebull stork because if you look at the top of her beak, on top of the red and black, just in front of the eye, that yellow patch, that yellow, almost saddle shaped. She's a striking bird. And on we go. Beautiful to have a little patch to see her standing there in the sunlight. The male has a dark eye, but he's also got a wattle. Now Ryan was asking why dogs are so endangered. Well, one of the things, Ryan, is that wild dogs cover exceptionally large areas. They roam. Fences don't really hold, and they have been persecuted by farmers for probably 200 years now. So entire packs have been wiped out. It was a good part of the question that Ryan was asking. If they have such large litters, how come they're so endangered? I think, right, wait, sorry, interrupting myself. Flower for the ladies. crinum lily facing us. I'm going to use this because it's Christmas morning. Obviously I might get stuck in this mud. Face this way a little bit. Flowers already starting to droop, turning a little bit pink. I'd like to get closer to pull the screen. Let's see if we can do that just while we're on our way to if I do this. All the leaves have been eaten. There we go. It's my Christmas present to the ladies out there. Might have to come off shortly. Okay. I wouldn't want to think that if we find a big kid that it thinks that you've got a Chinese rump steak on your head. So the other thing about the wild dog was that a long time ago it was thought that they were quite numerous, even as their numbers were declining, because they were seen in so many different areas. And then of course what happened was people started taking notice of individuals within packs, and then about 20 years ago or more we started identifying individual packs and found that they roam over much larger areas than previously expected, and where in the past one thought there was maybe 3 different packs that covered a large area, it turned out that it was actually only one pack. It was the same pack that everyone realized that there were actually far fewer dogs than by then it started becoming critical. They do get out of reserves and they do still get into farmland, and I think there are still farmers out there that would, if they could, take out an entire pack. There's an eagle. Let's see if we can get an ID. Somebody from around the world, if there's anyone who is a birder, keen on eagles. An interesting thing to note about this eagle is, well, apart from the fact that it's a brownish color, is one needs to look at the gape. The gape is the line of the mouth and how far it extends backwards, and what I can see is it's extending to the middle of the eye as opposed to beyond the eye, because there are a couple of brown eagles that look very similar, and sometimes the only way to tell the difference is to have a look at things like the cere, or rather the gape, not the cere. my guess is a tawny, which is the gape reaching below the middle of the eye. Let's see how closer we can get to, maybe zoom in a bit closer. No, wait, please. Text incoming. I found a new text. I'm on Leadwood. Can I come up and join you on that lock? Yeah, sorry, we need to go. But as you can see, a really nice close-up of this eagle, how that eye and the gape, where the gape stops just below the middle of the eye. Oh, tortoise. No, because I've been trying to listen to other things on, so I had to turn that volume down. Alex, sorry, I had to turn your volume down. There was something else that was more important. So I missed your last question and any of your last 2 minutes. Okay, Ryan, Utah, definitely not a brown snake eagle. Wasn't a lesser spotted. Diane saying tawny. I think it was a tawny. Lesser spotted. The gape goes beyond the eye, to the back of the eye. That one, the gape stopped in the middle of the eye, below the middle of the eye. Interesting. Which station was the lock with Ingwe on Chirikat line? Morning to you, Craig. Merry Christmas to you. How many on your lock at the moment? I'm on Leadwood at the moment, heading up to Chirikat line. Stop it, thanks. And where were those in Gala? Okay, copy. I'll probably move through that lock to go try and get to that Ingrid. So we suddenly got a bunch of cats to look at up here, and somewhere around here, or maybe a little bit further up towards another tortoise. Oh. But I want to just move past these lines. This is the Karula lions that are here somewhere. I want to just head past them because there's something else that I want to just try and get a glimpse of, if we can. There they are. You can see the young male. I'm going to come back to them because they're not going. Here's another lioness. We're going to come back to see them shortly.
Good morning.
How's it?
Alright, and yourself?
Good, thanks. I'm just going to move through.
No problem.
Thanks.
How's my man?
Hi.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Take some coming. Tex, can I join you on that lock? Okay, I'm heading up to the cut line now. And I can go back to Alex because I'm sure he's been trying to talk to me and I've had to have his volume down. Alex, come in. Okay, sorry, I had to turn your volume down if you were trying to get me the last 2 minutes. Now, this is the special thing to thanks RC in the Netherlands. The streak form of the tawny for that eagle. Now we need to find this cat that's making its way straight towards those kahumas. Oh shit. Compliments of the season to you, Squire. Yes. Is she coming through here?
Yeah.
Okay. Morning everybody. Looks like she's going down a little bit. Hopefully, good to see her here. And there she comes. Just see saw Aubrey's vehicle. I think she's heading there she goes. Okay, she's moving more into the bush rather than towards us on the road. So we'll see if we can try and intercept. Watch this stuff with this knobthorn on the right. We have a Christmas present today, folks. The Queen of Djuma is coming straight towards us shortly. We're going to stop her about here, I'd say, and maybe having her come straight towards us. Hello, pretty girl. If I'm going to be able to get her. And now?
Where'd she go?
She disappeared. She became invisible. She used her invisibility cloak. Looking at something. Let's try and get around here. Or morning all. Merry Christmas to you. How are you, Orbs? Very good. Merry Christmas. Nice to see you again. It's looking great for a 10-year-old cat. I was hoping she was going to climb up onto one of these pushed over knob thorns. She's looking for something. Looking quite lean. I think she might settle down there in the shade, maybe. Yep. 'Fortunately, fairly open ground to follow her. Going to market territory, brushing on the quarry, turning around, spraying. She's now getting into some pretty thick stuff. Definitely on the hunt at the moment. Catching a whiff. A tail telling me that she's interested in something. Something up ahead that she's got her eye on, maybe. She's got a bit of a nick on the back of her head behind her left ear. Maybe he was in a scrap. I will stay with her as long as we can. It is getting quite thick here. She's not doing... Oh, she's coming back this way now. I don't know if I'll be able to climb up this bank. Very dense now. As hot as it's getting, she's still on the move. It's quite interesting. I don't know if she's right behind this bush or not. Off to our left. Pardon? From behind them? Yeah. Okay. Not going to be easy keeping up with her in this vegetation, but we'll try. Baby leadwood. Wee little baby leadwood. The bigger wood. Gonna lose her here. Can't possibly. Fortunately, she changed direction. She was headed straight towards the casino. Oh, there she is there. Go back to the road. This is getting far too dense. A lot of dead trees pushed over, or trees that have been pushed over that are now just logs. Wonder if I'll be able to get in there where she is now. big holes, very, very thick. Big holes. She's right ahead of us. There's a wall of bush ahead of us. I'm going to try and make our way back onto the road. It's not too far from us. She could even be heading back towards the road. We might be able to see her if we sort of take an aim on that Mapani there with that Marula, not Mapani. What's the knob for? Scratching chalk or the nails in the chalkboard. There she is, coming out onto the road and heading back south again. Oh, we're going to have to say goodbye to her at this point, I think, because maybe not. She heads back a little bit east. It opens up, the bush opens up a little bit again to the east. But we need to turn around, maybe somewhere where it's almost impossible to turn around. It's also reaching a point now where I think it might be time to just leave her be. Going straight for that termite mound up there. We're going to get no way to get through there. Straight ahead of us, you can see that. Just lift the camera a bit. That big dead tree up there, the base of that dead tree, there's a termite mound very deep in it. She's just crossed to the right of that now. Maybe there's a way around through here. Maybe another drainage line. Looks like a little bit open just off to the not there. Get across that drainage line. What's good news is that she is moving around here. We don't know where she has the cubs, but the fact that she's been around close to Boyatela, she's coming back to a lot of her old ground and no doubt inspecting it, making sure that if she is going to bring her cubs, she wants to get an idea of what other cats are doing in the area. I guess she's also wanting to make a kill. We might be able to get through here. Squeeze between a buffalo thorn and a knob thorn. As much as I'd love to be able to go back in there, somehow I get to see her. I'm finding it hard to find a way in. What I thought is that this little drainage ditch is a little bit too steep. Deep, not so much steep as in deep. But as soon as we go up the other side, the back will catch. And I don't know where she is now. There's the big dead tree, so she was coming this way. And there's no way to cross this ditch, unfortunately. So I think at this point it's a goodbye to her. And I guess we can be lucky that we saw her. We've count ourselves very lucky. There's a very interesting tree right next to me. There was one down below called Ochna pulchra, a Mickey Mouse bush. The family Ochnacea. The fruits of the calyxes have opened. They look like flowers, but they're actually the calyxes that hold the fruit. And with the red calyxes you have these black berries that stick to the center, and sometimes looks like Mickey Mouse with the black nose and big ears. Ochna is spelled O-C-H-N-A. Boom. Ooh. A little bit of a workout trying to get in and out of here. But I suppose it's just as well, you know, we don't really want to be tailing her all morning, as much as we would love to. She does need to get on with things. Most importantly, if we're crashing through bushes and trying to keep up with her, there's a good chance that we'll spoil any chance of hunting that she might have. My guess is that what she's after right now is something like a duiker or a steenbok, something small that she can eat quickly and maybe head back to cubs. Who knows? Let's have a look. We'll take this road. Take a chance that on this section of Drakensberg Drive we might be able to pick her up again. We might even be able to get around down to that little spot where she was at. It's just down there. She might even be somewhere in here if she's still making her way south. Of course, if she does come through this open patch, we'll stay with her. We'll try and stay with her if it's open. But if it gets thick, it's just not really wise. mud. I don't want the mud. Maybe this is going to just fall over because it's been dead for so long. See, it's just too thick again. Tammy wanting to know where would a leopard keep her cubs while hunting? Well, they have specific den sites that they use, places that they have identified as safe areas. They could be anything from a big dead log that might have a hollow, a dead tree rather. Logs are generally dead trees. It could be a very deep drainage line, very steep, with very steep banks, some overhangs, dense vegetation, even known to use the burrows of warthog, old warthog or porcupine burrows, dens, sites that one might find in a termite mound. Anywhere that is well hidden and concealed. You were asking about this the other day, Lania. And they're just taking a chance that we might have picked up on her. But that's very difficult to guess where she could have gone amongst all of this dense vegetation. Found in that drainage line maybe. No telling, but I think we still got a bit of time. Let's go and have a look. I believe there is one of the Matemba male lion with those kahumas. So let's go and see the kahumas. We'll leave Karula, unfortunately. She's somewhere in here and she's not going to be seen again today. I'm happy that we got a glimpse of her. I'm happy we managed to spend a little bit of time with her when Not always easy when they're on the move, especially being a leopard. Leopard do need this dense vegetation. They hunt better in this kind of terrain or this habitat. They can get much closer to their prey. Leopard are not very fit. I wouldn't say fit, maybe not the right word, fit. They don't have the stamina of the other larger cats. And maybe we can just get past this mud. I'll straddle it. Hopefully don't break through a crust. I'm just looking at buffalo tracks in it. Any other time of the year it might have been a little bit sticky. There we go. Leopard don't have the ability to, well, they don't run after their prey the way a cheetah does. Leopard have sacrificed all of their speed and agility for the strength to be able to take down prey quickly, subdue them quickly, and then if necessary take it up into a tree. So their distance that they only run 20 yards or so, as opposed to maybe a lion that might run up to 100 to 200 yards. Leopard 20 to 50 yards is sort of maximum distance that they'll run after prey. But their primary method of hunting is stalking and pouncing. And that's what makes this ideal, because there's enough cover for it to get really close in on something. Oh, let's see, you can go this way or the other way. Here are the cats. She was coming straight towards them, so at the moment she's not really that far from them. There are not too many trees here either for her to get into if she had to come this way. So from one big cat to the next, what a wonderful morning. Hello children. I'm not too sure where they're all spread out, these cats, but there's a carpet of them that we're looking at now. There must be 1, 2, 3, there's another 1, 4, 5, 6 or 7 here where we're looking, well, where we were looking, and now we've got those 2 over there, 3 over there. Can't see the third one to the left because it is so flat. There, just see a little bit of its body. Must be lying in a little bit of a depression. And then that's it. There might be another female somewhere. I've heard that there's a Matimba male. Now I'm looking at that one young male. I thought he was a part of the Djuma pride. Oh. Doing what cats do best on a hot day. One wonders when it's hot like this how they don't get antsy with each other, lying on top of each other the way they do. But familial bonds, the pride bonds are very strong. Incredible to see how tender they can be with each other, and then as soon as there's meat on the floor, meat on the table, as soon as there's meat in front of them, they get quite aggressive with each other, trying to fight for pieces of meat. What's she seeing? She's seen something. And then she'll move deeper in. One cat moves and the others get a fright, and suddenly all the heads pop up. And down. Off she goes. I thought she was going to move soon because it's getting pretty hot for her there, I think. And the shade of that wattle is a lot cooler. a hungry little one, that one. Let's see if she gets up soon. Missing out on some family cuddling in the shade of the wattle further on where the others have gone to. This little bit of shade that they're going to lose is going to force them all to move eventually. Can other animals tell the difference in the scent between lion and leopard? From Virginia in Kentucky. Virginia, of course, very much so. Sense of smell is actually a very important sense, one of the important senses. Hearing perhaps the most. But most definitely, I think everybody out here in nature, they've been together for millions of years, I think they all know what each other smell like. Everything has its own distinct smell. In fact, even as humans, we have different, depending on what we eat, I suppose, to a large extent, but different nations have a different scent about them. But yes, very important that other animals can tell that whether there has been lion or leopard moving through the area where they are. Some animals that can ignore the fact that there's leopard and they might take notice that there's been lion moving around. I think there are a lot of subtleties that we don't understand about the workings of nature. There's a much greater force, I suppose, in one way of putting it. Sort of the great universal energy of the energy of the planet that seems to have everything connected in nature, and sometimes there are ways that things work that we still have to learn. The youngster brushing up against mom. Oh, two females. Once again, interested in something off to our left behind us. Is something that they seem to be wanting to investigate, maybe. No, yeah, not worth too much effort, whatever it might have been. Breton behind us. starting to cook out here. Unfortunately, we'll be able to come back this afternoon a lot later. Now they will have moved when the sun heads west, that they might get into this. There's a lot of wattle here that's got very thick shade. I'm sure they'll probably just move into that, unless of course the other thing is that if something comes by, they start to go into a hunt. They could take them deeper into the bush, anywhere further in. We might not be able to catch up with them again later. It'll be the same area that Karula went into this morning, very dense vegetation, to be able to go and find them. I think we will leave them be and start heading down towards Djuma waterhole, I think, so that we can maybe catch up with one or two things before we end off our drive this morning. I might also be able to see what these two lionesses have been looking at. We will see. I'm going to see if we can see them again from the other angle. Bye, children. There's nothing out here, and if they saw movement, I don't know what it was. I'm not seeing anything here. This is directly sort of in line with where they were looking. If you just look at them over my right shoulder. Try another angle. Right in the middle of the crowd. The Nkuhuma pride, not Nkoro, Nkuhuma pride. Nkuhumas, there's one Matimba male, but not this youngster that's lifting his head. It's another male that's lying flat cat, but almost in the middle of the pride. This is the little boy that belongs to the Nkuhumas. Okay, I think we'll come back a little later. The hotter it gets, the harder it is to sit in the sun. And they've got all the shade. Maybe come back and eventually this afternoon when it gets a little bit later. Unfortunately, it'll be probably quite a few vehicles here. Okay. There's some air moving. So what has been a very peaceful morning, made even more so by the presence of Karula, just knowing that she's around, knowing that she's venturing back into Western Gari. Good news, because it bodes well for her future travels if she's going to be traveling with the cubs in the near future, bringing them around. She must have covered a fair amount of ground last night if she was at the lodge around Gari Dam, Djuma waterhole, and now right down in the sort of southeastern corner, probably making her way back to where the cubs are. We suspect she's got her cubs somewhere east of us, southeast of us, on one of the properties there. And I suppose a night out like this would be for now, I suppose, with young cubs, would be about the longest she'll stay out for the time being. And maybe in a couple of weeks' time she might spend a whole day out. Hard to tell. It's never a fixed thing. It's never something that you can set a watch to. She does have to replenish her milk, she does have to feed. She doesn't want to be hunting anywhere near the den because of the likelihood of attracting other predators, especially hyena and lion. And so she will move quite far within her territory, of course. She will move quite far from the cubs, go off hunting. And as I said earlier, most likely try and find something small, so something to fill her up so she can get back to the cubs. Sometimes we'd take an impala and stash it in a tree and then go back to the cubs and come back to the impala again. All sorts of possibilities of what she might or might not do. One can only speculate and hope that we're going to have more moments like this morning to be able to see her. It does get a little bit scary sometimes when you have a leopard with a reputation like Karula, with a following like Karula has, because she's been such a fantastic leopard over the years. She's been so accommodating, allowing us to follow her, allowing us to see her cubs, watching her cubs grow up. To find her in a place where there are at least 9 or 10 lions lying flat, and she's likely to stumble across them. She might not necessarily pick up the scent. Of course, all depends on which way the wind is blowing, and especially if they're either defecating or urinating somewhere, then of course she will pick that up. But if the wind is wrong, she could stumble right into them. But that is what she's looking for, if we can get to see him. No, off he goes, there's a daker. Off he goes, there's a daker. Exactly what she's looking for, I reckon. She's a professional okay. Perfect size prey. Perfect size prey. To be able to eat some, stash it, and then come back later. Finish it off after she's suckled her cubs again. She did have a little bit of a flabby belly. Part of that is age, the fact that she's had 5 litters of cubs. And I have to be honest, I couldn't really see any suckle marks. I couldn't even see her memories, so I couldn't really check for suckle marks on them. Easier if she was lying down, but when she's walking through the grass, it's pretty difficult to notice something like that, especially also because I'm driving. I'm trying to find my way through and around bushes. Just heard a squirrel scream. Guesses that there was an eagle. A little splotch of red, but it was quite far in. A lantana flower. I think it would be nice to find something red against this green background on a day like today, when red and green is orange. There's a lot of Trichocereus on the side of the road. Pimpernels. On a flower. I think it would be nice to find something red against this green background. Well, we're not going to make it to Djuma waterhole. I thought we'd be able to get to there and say goodbye over there. We're going to say goodbye on the fly, unless I find something red in the next minute. Thanks for joining me. It's Christmas morning here in South Africa. We have a green Christmas, but some of you are having a white Christmas. I know some people are saying that they're getting tired of snow. I suppose I would be too. I can't spend much time in snow, or indoors for that matter, which is what the snow forces one to do. From a green and lush Djuma Game Reserve here in the Sabi Sand. It's our Christmas color, green. And I suppose I can't find a flower. Just have to do with me. Thanks for joining us. My name is Mark for Wild Earth, and for all of us here at Djuma Game Reserve, thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 4 o'clock Central African time when we'll be out again, and we're going to start off anew this afternoon. Try and find something else. There's something red. If we can quickly get on that. It's not an indigenous flower. The red stars in here, I suppose, is a being red. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. See you later. The berries